Hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to some more Halls of Torment, or welcome to it if you haven't caught this game before. It is a Diablo 1 style bullet heaven. I don't remember the staircase being here. We got a Shrine of Blessings, but I'm pretty sure I have next to nothing, so I want to check my equipment real quick. Yep, looks like I've got at least some stuff going on. I'm not going to think too hard about my current build. But so this is coming out on in early access in 4 days on the 24th, and I got advanced access. And as far as I can tell, the prologue and demo, your progress carries over. So I guess if you guys are interested in picking this up immediately, if that demo is still up, go check it out. You'll have a good time. So what do we want to do? Area and cone size, I think that's the one we want the most. The biggest issue with this character is mostly just the fact that he's melee and there's a lot of enemies. And so we want to kind of focus on getting this cone to be as big as possible so I can just wreck through things as fast as I can. Pickup range isn't a bad idea. Base critical hit chance, though, and attack speed. All of these are great. I think I'm going to go for the attack speed for the moment. It feels like the stats scale a little bit better, and I certainly feel stronger. I'm also noticing a couple more things on the UI that I don't necessarily recognize either. Health regen per second. Oh, hey. This, if I remember right, they originally had like a much weirder way of phrasing regen. Do I want to grab a little bit of metabolism? Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. I don't actually seem to be healing much, though. Like, it's giving me a pop-up as though I'm healing, but I seem to still be stacked at 500 out of 550. I'm almost wondering if the 550 is a mirage, and that I'm not actually supposed to have 550 HP, and I can't handle it. So range. How far a melee attack can hit, or how far projectiles can fly. Critical damage bonus, crit chance, base defense. Let's just go for the crit chance. Because if I can get that base crit chance up to 100%, that makes my life easier. A lot easier. Alright, and let's just, let's go on an adventure. I wanna kill and fight things, but we should probably go grab some of these talismans and other various resources. Because I know one of them is how I get equipment, and one of them is how I get new moves. And I want both. Range and cone width. Only for my melee weapon, or my main weapon, but honestly, that's still what I want. Because the true ideal here is that we get to the point where my cone is a full 360 swing and nothing can approach me from behind. Because I feel like if I can get that, I'm going to be in a good spot. Maybe. And we also want as many of those coins as we can possibly get our hands on as well. Yeah, this has improved dramatically. I feel like that's maybe kind of redundant to state. But if you saw my previous coverage of it, I really did not like the first, like, 2 or 3 runs. I was way too weak. But I think once you get even just, like, that beginning couple of pieces of equipment, the game changes dramatically for the better. But we are now in Slime Town, which is a little scary. Crit chance for the main weapon, range for the main weapon. Ideally, what I'd like to do is not spend too much. I don't want to hyper-focus on my melee weapon. But if I don't have a better alternative, then I'll go for it. Oh. Hey, taking damage actually seems to have reset my health, and now I'm properly regenning. So it wasn't that the maximum health was a mirage. Health and base defense, pickup range, base health, or more attack speed. I think I'm going to keep going for the attack speed. I know we're going to need some defense and defensive options. Should probably actually just finish this guy off if I can. Okay, area and cone size, pickup range. Now I'm just gonna keep going for biggest cone. Because the more enemies I hit effectively, the more damage I have. Some games range is meaningless and not that good. This is one of those games where, especially for this character, speccing hard into range, at least early on, is really good. Do I want to go for the damage, the base health, defense, block strength? Nah, let's just go for the damage. Okay, ring blades. What do we want to do? So orbs circled me. Those throw around me. Multi-hit increases frequency of thrown blades or lightning strike. Astronomer's Orbs, physical summon projectile, physical projectile, melee. I think we want to go for ring blades. I don't actually know the difference on these. Yeah, I think the blades are a good call. Okay, let's go get our next ability. I say as I start going the wrong direction to grab more EXP. I'll just have to remember to come back this direction. I know there is a magnet that can and will show up, but it is somewhat infrequent. And I know we also want to bust those up. Luckily, the enemies seem to more or less just warp into position, so I can just freely come in and grab what I need. You know what? I'm gonna snag a bit of pickup range, just so. How close are we? Not that close yet. Okay, now we're getting closer. There it is. Okay. Arcane Splinters or Astronomer's Orbs? Honestly, I think I'm just gonna go for the orbs. I'm gonna be kind of a melee range guy, so I might as well stick to close range, easy to handle abilities, and then I'll work my way up from there. I actually am really liking these sound effects, because I'm not hearing a whole lot of, like, my hits. I'm mostly just hearing enemies going crinkle crunch and then dying, which feels good. Do we want to go for the crit damage? The range isn't that helpful for me, yeah. Unless range somehow increases the size of my iron orbs, we pretty much have no interest in it. Because, yeah, if I can have big steel balls floating around me, like big ones, or if I can have more, both of those are worth it. Orbit speed, distance, damage, not bad, sure. Because, yeah, these little imps like to stab me in the back. Which, I'm going to say, one of the most... I want to say undersung mechanics I've seen out of this game so far. Crit chance, cone size. Sure. Is that the enemies actually behave differently depending who and what they are. So the skeletons just walk at you, they're normal, they're boring. There's nothing too fancy about them. You just have to mow through their numbers. But the imps, if you notice, they're not very brave. They actually kind of are ignoring me, or not ignoring me. They're staying away from me. If I'm looking at them, they stop. They back away. They don't want to deal with me. But if my back's turned, they're coming for me, and I think that's really cool. A lot of these games, you're mostly just dealing with the fact that the enemies are just moving in a linear fashion, and there's nothing terribly exciting about that. I'd like to go for the area cone size. Well, let's go for the crit chance. Because if I can get that up to be even higher, that's probably going to be better. I'm fighting all the skeletons while we're here just because they're easy. And then once it switches to some other type of enemy group, then I want to change that up. Ow. There we go. A little bit of movement speed wouldn't be the worst idea here. Alright. I think I've got almost everything. So now it's my general goal to back away from this guy, hit him slowly, grab resources as I go, try not to take too much damage. Okay, base critical damage and defense, orbit speed and ability, or cone size. Honestly, I'm gonna keep working on the orbs. I don't remember the healing potions. I know there was a magnet at some point. I don't know how the magnet is specifically determined. I'm actually kind of ripping through this guy. I will admit, as a long-term fan of the Diablo series, long-term, fan in hiatus of the Diablo series, I wish this guy had a cleaver, not just a big mallet. But I guess he's not actually the butcher. Alright, so we get some equipment. So, not retrieved. When hit, drop 10 spikes on the ground. They deal 100 damage and stun the enemy on contact. Takes 4 seconds to recharge, cannot be blocked. Owned, owned. So let's grab the spike boots and we're just going to throw them in our bag. Because I might as well go drop that off. So one of the coolest parts about this game... Oh, so the boots are actually still in effect? Oh, that's interesting. Is that this actually features a sort of Diablo-style equipment system. And so, you could see it earlier. I don't remember how to get back to it. I like this EXP, but I should probably continue adventuring here. How much damage do the orbs do? I think 56. It's not huge, but it's not terrible. Let's go back to the well. But so I can find equipment that I might want or I might not. But every once in a while I can go up to this this well and chuck my items in and have it unlocked permanently, semi-permanently, so that I can use it in future runs, which I think is a really cool system. It very much... I originally was just like, oh, yeah, it's trying to be Diablo. Like, oh, yay. What, not like... How would I describe it? I'm stumbling over my words a little bit because there's a lot of enemies. A lot of times when somebody tries to make something like Diablo, especially within the bullet heaven genre, when you try and make a game like somebody else's game, it's very face value. It's not actually that interesting. So I played like a... Oh, hit 20 enemies with a single attack. Apparently that was a quest. Sick. Okay. Now this is looking a little spicy dicey. I'd like to get to the well, at least. What was I going to say? I mean words and things for sure. I was playing a match 3 roguelike earlier. I might put the footage up. It wasn't that it was a strictly bad game. It's just that I felt like it didn't really use the mechanics particularly well. It was just kind of there for the sake of it. But it wasn't engaged with particularly deeply. Conversely, like, Luck Be a Landlord is probably one of the better examples of damage and attack speed on the main weapon. Absolutely. Okay. Oh. So let's retrieve that item. Can I go into my bag? Ah, here we go. There's too many enemies here. I gotta mow through them. It'd be foolhardy for me not to corral this many foes into one spot and not try and get resources off of them. Plus, it's not like these bonus objectives are going away anytime soon. I could go away. I could get absolutely wrecked. That's the one downer, but whatever. Blade size, damage, cone size, pickup range. You know, I'm just gonna go for that pickup range. The less I have to go back for, the better. I'm pretty sure there is a magnet that you can get in this game somewhere. But it ain't common. Yeah, even here, I was talking about the enemy's behavior. The slimes, they move in a jerking, halting fashion. They move and then they stop. They move and then they stop. But they also behave like kind of your classic RPG slimes. You kill one, and it splits into 2 or 3 or something like that. I think that's a really cool way of doing it, because I actually have to care about what my enemies are. I can't tell you what, like, half the enemies in Vampire Survivors do, because they're not mentionable. There's nothing going on there. It's just a regular enemy until it's like a mid-boss. Or maybe over large. But most of the time it's just... Well, no, I guess there were, like, different health values and, like, certain stuff. Like, it would differentiate mostly based on, kind of quantity and their base statistics, like how much HP they have. I should probably stop taking so much damage. Let's see. And from my own perspective, I think I kind of crave this genre to evolve and become more interesting. Brotato is a good example of a bullet heaven where A lot of the enemies are just kind of meaningless trash, but even then, all of them have kind of their own... Whoa, that was a... That must have been one of my spinning blades going way out there. But even then, every single enemy in Brotato is very distinct and noticeable. Crit chance, cone size. Yeah, let's keep going for that. Okay. And I think I've got enough resources. Let's keep booging. It doesn't look like I can use the well again, so I'm kind of on my own here. Crit chance and crit damage. Health, ooh, and a little bit of regen. I might want the dedication, but no. I do hope there's some way to retrieve lost resources. I really do appreciate those potions, though. Oh, and here comes the weird meat dogs. They like to circle you. It's very easy to get trapped by it. Especially when they all come at once. Feels like they die pretty quick, though, which is nice. I think this build feels a fair bit stronger than some of my other builds have in the past. Okay, range and cone width? Yeah. I'm just gonna keep making my, my cleaver cleave. Oh, there's a mid-boss in this midst, too. And we want to stay away from the poison puddles. There we go. There's a mid-boss in there, but... Oh. 0.1 additional attacks. That's interesting. I'm gonna keep going for that range, though. Music's actually giving me, Warhammer Mechanicus vibes. Ow. Which I'm not hating. Mechanicus was, like, a fantastic game. And I've always wanted more games to have that level of, like, I don't know, just power orchestra? Power gothic music? Hard to describe. Okay. Ooh, electrified orbs. Additional lightning damage based on the movement speed. Can electrify enemies on hit. Yeah. So now my orbs are much stronger. Wow. Let's go for a bit more flat damage here. Some of these enemies are starting to get kind of tough. Ooh. Okay, we've got a couple of things popping up on the map. Yeah, my problem is I'm killing too hard, and I should probably stop. I'm kind of cutting through them pretty quickly. Yeah, we should boogie though. Oh, here's the thing. Whatever this is. Oh, that's the magnet. I super appreciate that the magnet is in fact, it's actually grab a little bit of movement speed. We've got a mid-boss that does some kind of stinky patterns and I don't want him to catch me. Also red skeletons. Not a lot of HP. Pretty fast. So now that we know that we have multiple magnets just hanging out on the map, I think I'm going to be much more mobile here. At least to get back up to this treasure chest. See if I get anything good. Because at this point, losing an amount of EXP isn't really going to hurt me too much, and getting this last chest seems like a reasonably good idea. And who knows, maybe the mid-boss is going to drop a magnet as well. Alright. It definitely does feel like you have to pay a bit of an early game tax for this. But once you've paid that and gotten reasonably far and some of that base equipment going, and some meta progression, it's actually not too bad. I would adore a Diablo 2 bullet heaven. with that level of, like, talent tree stuff going on. Let's see, base health and movement speed, yeah. Unfortunately, he's a tough sucker. Hey, but we get some treasure. Okay, so what do we got? Choose an item. Every 15 seconds, you summon a skeleton to fight for you. They'll perish after a set time, but the life force can be extended. Can handle 5 summons at a time. Defense and block. Or, every second, your damage is increased by 25%. Reset when you perform an attack with your main weapon. I'm gonna go for the Necromancer's Clutch. I don't actually know if summons are really, really worth much of anything in this, but, it feels like some extra help is not unwelcome here. There we go. Yeah, we're doing a decent chunk of damage to this dude. That's a lot of shieldy skelly boys. And teleporty blue mages, they're new. Oh, I see. So they're just a red mage, but yeah, they warp around somewhat regularly. Let's keep going for that attack speed. This is usually where the, ooh, I don't know what that purple thing is. Probably just more EXP. This is usually the point when the archer gets overwhelmed. Because I don't think their arrows have much for pierce. I think they have a little bit. Okay, so what's my next item? Extra damage for each missing health point. Ooh. Chance of block increases the distance you've moved. Or spike boots. I guess I'm going to grab the Scars of Toil. Just because. So that means we kind of want to start stacking a whole bunch of missing HP, because it's not based on a percentage of HP missing. It's a per point. So if I have like 10,000 HP and I'm missing most of it, I am going to be hitting like the absolute monster. Let's go for the crit damage bonus. We're critting a decently often. And it seems like if I can get that so it's doing even more damage, I'll be able to cut through groups. Oh, and the green skeleton are mine. They don't seem particularly good. I won't lie. Okay, health regen, orbit speed, distance, ability, and yeah. Yeah, I should probably head for one of those magnet lockpick things, but honestly, it's probably more practical for me to just hang out here and fight. At least until the enemy herd thins a bit. Let's see, base health and block? Yeah. Okay, more meat dogs. Now the question is, do they have the same general HP as regular meat dogs? I think so. Either that or they've only scaled a little bit. Okay, base crit chance. The max HP is tempting, but I'm gonna do more damage if I've got absurd crit damage more than anything else. Oh, there's another boss in this midst. Personally, I just think every time you kill a boss, you should get a magnet. I've seen a couple of Bullet Heavens do that, and it's always felt like that's probably the more preferential version. Okay, area encode size or just raw damage. We're actually having, like, a reasonably good run here. I was expecting to have a couple of failures before I hit on a good one, just because meta progression requirements, but, turns out Bronin the Barbarian just needed a little bit of a boost, and then he's in a good spot. I don't know what the boss is doing, he's just kind of hanging. Luckily, that makes him incredibly vulnerable to death. Let's see, Lightning Strike. Hit enemies get electrified. Let's see, multi-hit increases attack speed. I'm gonna go for the Phantom Needles. I have no idea which is actually good for me. Let's see. Piercing Winds. No. We're going for area and cone size. I think... I mean, no matter what, that makes my main cleave strong. Okay. More crit damage. Crit chance cone size. No. I'm gonna just go for overall crit damage. Because if I can ever get enough crit bonuses that we're at 100% crit, oh gosh. Everything be dying then. Okay, crit chance and crit damage on... yeah. Yeah, I just gotta make sure I don't get surrounded here. I think we're fine. I don't think it's worth going for... Ooh, do we want to just keep... yeah. I don't think it's worth going for those magnets yet. But this is definitely a little bit busier. Actually... that was it? No. Okay, here we go. Now we got some slimes. I don't like slime waves as much. They're not bad. It's just hard to get them all together. So I think here's where we just collect some of our resources. Actually, no. I'm just gonna head for that nearest magnet. It's not that the slime... oh, well. There we go. Okay, attack speed, health regen. I probably actually do want the health regen, even if I scale based on how... oh, mini-meat dogs. Uh-oh. They hurt. Okay, piercing, block chance, base defense. Reduces damage taken by a certain ratio. Yeah, let's just snag that. I don't know if it's a flat amount or a percentage. Here's the one consideration. Okay. I'd also very much like to potentially find more boxes. Because boxes are how I get magnets, they're how I get health potions. Ow. And they're how I get meta currency. And as this gets considerably more dangerous for me, I should be kind of on the lookout for a number of those. Am I summoning, Skelebone summoners? I am. Okay, pickup range. Okay, if block value equals unreduced damage of an attack, chance to block is 50%. If it exceeds it by 4 times, it becomes 100%. Interesting. Yeah, we're just gonna be taking some chip damage here. I know I scale based on how little HP I have, but even then. It's not worth taking unnecessary risks. Considering I am actually just losing HP. It seems like I'm taking roughly about 10 damage. 10 to 15 damage per interaction here. Oh. And now we've got dark meat dogs and a bonermancer. That's a cool looking bonermancer. Unfortunately, we don't have a... unfortunately, we don't have another well, so I can't save any of my other items. I think I'd really only save the talisman for the lost health. Ow, 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 ow. The, lost health scales your damage. Because that just feels like a really good starting item. It's fine, we'll see more of it. Okay. Boss dead. Grab it. Okay, block strength. Spikes. I think I'm just gonna grab the plated boots. We already have all of those, so why not, right? Okay. Movement, Base defense, piercing. No, I'll go for a little bit of regen. Okay, so those gem pile looking things are just more EXP gems. I wasn't quite sure if they were money or... Ugh, a lot of enemies. I wasn't quite sure if they were money or what. I guess we have a good answer. Unfortunately, dark meat dogs. They're nice and slow, which is good. Unfortunately, there are many of them, and they have a lot of HP. Makes it a little harder to get up in here. I do wish there were more well entrances that I could utilize here. Just to send some of these items up. I don't think this runs a wash necessarily. Oh, yeah, because we only have 6 minutes left. We might do fine. Okay, and then there's a bunch of armor skelemen, who actually are pretty flimsy. Okay. I'm gonna just go for the base health. More health to lose means more damage scaling. Okay, I'm just gonna keep kind of trying to push in a rightward direction. There it is. That should be a decent chunk. Not an amazing amount, probably. Let's see, more crit chance and damage, yeah. Okay. A little bit of regen. Considering how much time we have left on this run. I think it's probably more practical. Ugh. More practical that I focus a little bit on survivability. Mostly I want to focus on my main weapon and my orbs, which I've kind of just been doing this entire time anyway. Okay, just want to not get shot here. Whew. Boy, I sure am glad I have the big ol' AoE. Oh, shoot. Both of these are great. I think I'm gonna go for the crit chance. I don't actually know if that was the correct decision, but... Can I actually check my stats? Attack speed is... actually pretty good. Yeah, I've nearly doubled it, so I guess a little bit more attack speed isn't the worst idea. Okay. Let's see. More base health? Yes. 4 minutes left, so yeah, we ain't done yet. I wonder if I win the run if I get to keep all of my equipment. I'm pretty sure there are harder difficulty levels for me to engage in as well. Alright, some fast meat dogs. It's fine. I do appreciate that the enemies don't seem to scale in metrics over time, just quantity. It means that, at least for this difficulty level, it probably scales based on whatever difficulty level I'm rolling, but, this way I can kind of form that basic mental math when carving through groups of, okay, I can reasonably walk through meat dogs. I don't think they're really going to be able to stop me. Whereas, I have to worry a little bit more about the dark meat dogs. Or something like that. Like, imps aren't really a problem, I'm faster than them, and they die in one hit. Being able to have that consistent, like, subconscious mental math going of, like, yeah, I can reasonably charge through this group of enemies safely, is one heck of a boon, as far as I'm concerned. And that, once again, I think some bullet heavens don't do this well, where at the end, every enemy scales over the course of the run. Let's see, attack speed. Nah, it's just overall attack speed. Those max health increases would be good, but I think it's also only like 0.07% per health lost, so I'd have to be losing 1,000 HP just to be able to do 100% extra damage, which is still good, but I think attack speed's more valuable. Because right now there's so many enemies that I just can't cut through them fast enough. Though it's not as dire as it was earlier. Survive until there's only 2% left, or 2 minutes left. Yeah, unless something like really rude shows up, I think we've got this. Because the other point is, if I can get to this section where I can more or less one-shot waves, or at least cleave a path forward. You know, even if I can't kill the sum total of the enemies that I'm being hounded by, if I can at least have a consistent safe zone that I am creating with every strike, we can't die. It's definitely a little dodgier. I like that money, thank you. The one problem is the better I'm doing, the less damage I start doing. It's fine. Might as well snag a little bit more. Crit damage bonus? Yeah. The higher my crit chance, the more that's gonna scale. Hey, we're hitting for... Well, we were hitting for 666 damage for a bit. I was like, yeah, that seems appropriate for this game. Alright. I'm quite curious to see how things are going to change after this run. Ow. Wow, that's a lot of mages shooting at me. Blessed be that I actually invested a little bit into defense here. Otherwise, we'd be having some problems. Looks like we got another magnet up here, so I might kind of want to seek it out. Ow. Do not walk through the goop. The goop is death. You know what? Screw it. I can feasibly walk through this, right? Kind of. I just wanted to get rid of all of those. Ow. I want to get through all the mages so there aren't any that are currently just wailing on me. Go for a little bit more base defense. I don't think that was worth it. Oh, and here comes Santa. Ah. Let's see. Go for that. 2, 1. Do I just die? Yeah. Alright, so that was the Grim Reaper, in fact. But, all things considered, we, got some stuff done. Hey, we even got a cleric. Alright, choose a hero. Cleric. Why not? Quests. So can I select any of these? Ah. Defeat the Lord of Pain. Oh, I see. So, how this works... Oh. Oh, that's fascinating. We also have story. Reach level 100, but with cleric, and you get more gold. Oh gosh, I have a lot of gold. Milestones. Yeah, so every time we complete these, I think we unlock things around me. So... or around the previous quest. Oh, and it also gets me more EXP too. Wow. This game's got the best kinds of layers. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Pretty expensive. Let's see if any of them are amazing. Attack range, pickup range. I know I was investing in that for a good reason. Health regen. It was okay. Attack speed, area and projectile size. All of those are good. Let's go over here. Item stash. 20% attack speed. Yeah, I'm probably fine with that. Let's talk to the Wellkeeper. Do we buy the spike boots? No, I think I'm just gonna leave them there. We have credits, and... oh, I see. Does this staircase lead anywhere? I think I'm gonna have to check. Just because. Nope. At least not yet. I guess the last thing I should quickly check before we, I I guess before we stop, is I want to see what is Register of Halls. Oh, these are just destinations. So I have Ember Grounds, Haunted Caverns, that's it so far. Alright, so I guess back to the Shrine of Blessings, what do I invest in? Honestly, damage and attack speed are the main two, I think, at the moment. Pickup radius we kind of have solved, especially because we have the, let's see. I guess I'll get some of the low-hanging fruits. Why don't we just get those? Yeah, there we go. I'll just do it kind of slowly. Increment all of them rather than anything else. But the last thing I want to do, I don't actually want to do another run because I'm running a little bit behind, and also these runs take a while. What is my weapon? It looks like my auto attack is just... It's... Oh, wait. Holy smokes, this guy does some damage. It's a slower attack rate, but he does like a double tap. Interesting. Yeah, I definitely want to play some more for the cleric, but for now at least, I think this is a good stopping point, at least for me. So, I guess if you guys want to play Halls of Torment yourselves, the demo I think is still available, at least for a little bit, and early access will be coming out in a couple of days, specifically on the 24th, so you don't have too long to wait, and I might actually do another video when that comes around. Ooh, we get less defense. So different characters have different perks too. Oh. And this guy seems to behave kind of strangely. I'll have to see how it works, because it looks like it just did a debuff to them too. Anyway, so with all of that said, if you guys like this video in any way, shape, or form, leave me a like, helps more than you know. And if you want to see more rad new indie games every single day, then hit subscribe, because I got tons to check out and show off. But with that, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.